Right then, folks. I'm going to show you what you're going to be making in this folder here. So I'm going to make some of these parts publicly available for you, which means you won't have to make every part, but what we do need to do is make the top bit, because you need to know the methods I use to make it. So I'm just going to load it up now so you can see it. Here we go. So that is the product in its entirety that you're making, your lantern. And if I just go to this translucent view, you can see how the components fit together. So we've got the actual LED tea light in the middle, we've got the base, we've got the four sides, and we've got our top part. And for the purposes of this video, I've only put some patterns on the top. But we're not going to do it like this in the later on. We're actually going to do we're going to design something in 2D Design and transfer it in here as a different type of file, but that is for later on. So let me just put this back here. So we're going to create this bit here at the top. So I'm just going to create a new document. So I'm going to call this box top demo. But you are going to just call it box top. Create. Here we go. Right, okay, so by now you're familiar with this setup. You've got your viewing cube up here. You've got your three different your main work planes, front, top and right to start with. And as we know, we start everything with a new sketch. Now, because it's the top of the box, it's going to make sense for us to work on the top plane. So we go to sketch first. We can click on that one there, or we can actually as well, if we want to select a plane, we can click here. So you can see that's gone there. So sketch one, that's where I'm going to be drawing. So it's the top, and it makes sense for me to click over here on my viewing cube. So I'm looking straight at the top. So the overall size is 100 by 100 millimeters. Click my rectangle. You can see if I hover over the middle, so when I'm hovering over that yellow middle, we call that the origin, remember? When we hover over it, that's not going to select the origin, but if I hover over it to when the square pops up, that means I'm bang in the middle. So if I click there, drag it out and click, and this is what I think some of people are missing. Once I've clicked off it, as long as I don't click again, it offers me the option to change the dimensions there. So I'm going to type in 100, type in 100 again. You can see that's kind of gone out of my view. So if you just click top again here, that recenters it. That's quite useful to know. If I was to click here or here, I'd see obviously a different angle. But I'm going to go back to top. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky with this one, because this is easy enough to do. We could we look at this from a different angle now, and we could extrude it. But we don't want to do that yet, because what we need to do is put that profile. We've got all these different parts on it that we need to cut away. So rather than extruding it into a solid shape and then cutting away afterwards, I'm going to do it all in the sketch. I'm going to do it all in one go. So I'm going to click top. I'm just going to move it slightly more into the middle if I can. There we go. Slightly easier with a mouse. There we go. Right. Now, if I want to move these, because they're a little bit in the way there, I'm going to go up to my rectangle and click on it again. That'll deselect it. That way I can click on that. I can drag it out. Click on it again. Drag it out. If I wanted to change this, all I've got to do is double click it, and I can put a different value in, but obviously 100's fine. So I'll press return again. Right then, so rectangle again. In fact, no, that's a lie. I'm going to do a line first. So I need to give this a bit of a thickness, because remember, we're going to join some of the bits to it. This is a top, so it needs to have a cutaway so that it can fit on the other bits. These little finger joints all the way around, as you've seen from looking at the real lantern that I made as an example. So I click line up here, and I'm just going to put 4 lines in side to side. Now, see that I can draw the line at any angle. If I get it perfectly perpendicular, it sort of snaps to it and it goes into a bit of a dotted line. And I'll go right to the other side. I know I'm on the other side when it goes yellow. Now this is annoying. The best way to get rid of that is just to press escape. Up to my line again, overlap, escape, all the way across. This is quite difficult on my coffee table, so I apologise. Escape. And last one there. Up to the top, and then press escape again. So I've got my 4 lines, and now what I need to do is basically distance them. I need to dimension them. Now, to dimension them, if you just press D, well, you can click this bit here, but if you just press D, you'll see that's a shortcut. D selects the dimension tool. Now, if I want to dimension a line, I can just click on it once and drag it. Okay, if I snap that again, it will give me the option to change that. But what I want to do is go up, but before I click it again, I want to go up so it highlights the line above it. So it's gone yellow there. Click it again, and this time it changes. So I'm actually going to be, I'm actually dimensioning the distance between those 2 lines. So bring it out to where it's convenient, it's out of the way, click it, and I'm just going to type 4, because that's the distance I want it to be, 4mm. Dimension's still selected, so I'll do the same thing again. So if I hover over this line, it goes orange, click, 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 4. And I need to do that for all 4 lines. So click, 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 and finally this one over here. Okay, grand. So we can see what's going on now. I've got my 100 by 100 square, and inside I've got 4 lines that are separated by 4mm. These are effectively construction lines at the minute. Next job, and this is where it starts to get a little bit sort of crammed in the picture, if you like, a bit crowded, I should say. So I'm going to zoom in on this top bit here, which just makes my life a little bit easier. Now with my line tool this time, so I'm clicking my line again up here. I need to put 4 lines on. I'll put one there, straight lines, remember perpendicular. Press escape. When you put in, but be aware, if you look at my cursor now, the little cross here, if I go to the middle, it picks up the centre. See that box just appeared, that yellow box? That's picked up the centre of that line. I want to avoid clicking on that. The reason being, if I click on that, that will act as what's called a constraint. It's a bit like a dimensioning, so it'll think I want it to be on the halfway line, and it won't allow me to change the distance later on. So it's going to put 4 lines in, relatively equally spaced. It doesn't have to be perfect, so we're going to dimension them anyway, but I want to avoid that middle bit. Click, click, escape. Okay, now you need to do this on every side. So I've got 4 lines there, 4 lines there, and 4 lines here, and then 4 lines on the other end, the opposite end as well. So every side of this will have these 4 lines. I'm not going to go through that now because it'll get a little bit tedious, but what I'm going to show you, what you need to do is how to dimension them. So again, press D, and we need 5 equally spaced sections basically. And as this is 100mm across, we need to make them 20mm apart. So what I'm going to do, and this is where it really pays to be zoomed in, because you need to be able to see the individual little lines. From this line here to that line there needs to be 20mm. So I'm going to click on this one here, just like we did before. Wait till that goes yellow, pull it down. I need to dimension that as 20. Same on this one, there to there. This time I'm going to pull it upwards, because next to each other they look a bit crammed in. So I'm going to put it up there, 20. There to there, 20, and there to there, there to there, 20. I don't need to dimension the last line. I don't need to dimension that to that, and that's because we know that's constrained to be 100mm across, and each one of these is constrained to be 20, so that it stands to reason that that last distance has to be 20mm. So if I show you what that looks like, go there to there, 20, yes. It goes grey. It goes grey because that dimension's irrelevant. It's not going to cause any harm, but we just don't need it to be there. I'm just going to do Control Z and that'll disappear. So that's where we are. So we need to make sure that all 4 are done the same. I'm going to do one more just so you can kind of see how that works. I'm just going to pull this up, zoom in on this next one. So line again, click escape. Make sure you avoid that middle constraint, so just avoid going too near the middle. There to there. Do make sure those are perpendicular lines. And again, pressing D. That line to, no, but not to that one, to the top one, the outside one. 20. And one more. There to there. Okay, so I've got 2 sides done there, and you can start to see what's happening now. I've got this. I've setting myself up so I can delete lines in order to just leave the sketch I want. Okay, so I'm going to press OK on that sketch for now. That sketch isn't complete, but this way I can have a look at it. It looks fine. Now, if I want to reactivate that sketch, I just go over here and I double click it, and that will allow me to edit it again. So I'm going to move it over. I might as well do all of them while I'm here. You can just leave this video running and do this at the same time. If I do all 4 sides, then I can actually show you as well what we do to finish the sketch off. So yes, this is a bit of a pain. It's a little bit, and I know it's going to be particularly awkward if you're using the trackpad on a laptop or a WinBook, but I'm not going to make you do this for all 5 sides of this lantern. So here we go. There's my lines. Press D. There's no rush to do this either, so it's better, as I've explained to you guys before, it's better to focus on accuracy. So when we think about realising, which is kind of what we're doing here, is accuracy. And I just need to quickly dimension these ones as well. There may well be a quicker way of doing this, but I have not yet discovered it. And the last one. Okay, lovely. So here we are. I've got all the lines I need now, all the drawing lines I need. Those dimensions are a little bit awkward where they are. You know, they do kind of make it look a bit messy, but we're not going to see that in the end anyway. So the next thing we're going to do is, we're still working on this sketch, so there's no point in pressing the tick yet. We're happy as it is. I can press the tick. Okay, but I can always go back to it, double click it. Now what I need to do is I need to delete some lines. I need to snip or trim lines, and conveniently they've made the trim tool a pair of scissors, so you can either press that tool or you can press M for trim, and it'll allow you to delete certain lines. So I'm going to show you which lines I'm going to delete. If I delete some lines completely, you'll notice as well that the dimensions disappear because that line no longer exists, but that's absolutely fine. So first thing we do is start from the corners. I want to delete this line, these 2 short ones here. They also need to delete that one, that one, that one, and that one. You can see I now have a completely clear corner. So if I do that on every corner put there, just to get rid of these little short ones as well. It's important that you get rid of every trace of these lines. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and this last corner. Trim, trim. Has it got rid of it? Yep. That one. That one. So we've got the corner sorted. Now what we need to do, so I want to leave this bit extruding. I want to get rid of, protruding. I want to get rid of that bit. So I need to delete that line in the middle. And then I need to delete this line here. This line here. And just to make sure I don't get this wrong. So it's that one, and that one, and then this one here. Yeah. Here. 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 Oh, one last one. Magic. Now, if I press it now, you'll see that's the shape we're after. That is the exact shape we're after. I'm just going to put it into 3 dimensions. In fact, if I click on that bit there, that's how we want to view it. And the last thing to do is I'm going to extrude this this sketch. Remember, I need to select the sketch, and it's good practice. I could select it there, but it's good practice to select the sketch over here on the left. So click on sketch, go on extrude, and I want to extrude downwards, so I can either use that arrow or that arrow to get rid of it. And the thickness of the material, as we've already discussed, is 4mm. So change that to 4. Perfect. Tick. Done. Okay, and that's it, and we've created the part we need. Right, folks, good luck, and the next video I will show you how to create an assembly where we introduce lots of these components together, and we use something called a planar mate to join them together. Thank you very much.